Changes might be coming to the paychecks of state educators.
And an HPU track and field star adds another record to her resume.
These stories and more, All Access starts right now. Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of HPU All Access. I'm Anna Harris.
And I'm Reese Harnett. Now let's head over to Ciara Zavala for our weather update.
Thanks, Anna. I'm Ciara Zavala, here to give you a look at our weather. So, starting with this week, we're going to be experiencing some storms tonight and tomorrow, a.m. in the morning. And then for this weekend, it's going to be around the 50s, and then it's going to get high back in the 70s this week. So, next, let's look at our 7-day forecast. So, here's our forecast. We're starting out in the 60s, and then we're going to be going up to the 70s and hopefully experiencing some hotter weather. So that's it for this week's weather.
Davidson County families worry over mysterious bullets damaging their homes. The Davidson County Sheriff's Office has received several calls for weeks, and on Saturday, deputies went to investigate a bullet hole that came through a home on Byerly Road. According to Noah Everhart, who lives at the home, he discovered the bullet hole in one of his windows. The curtains were messed up and glass was shattered. The bullet pierced the glass, window pane, and blinds and went straight into the kitchen wall. Fortunately, Everhart and his family were not home at the time of the shot, but still fear that it could have ended in a tragic accident. Davidson County deputies believe people doing target practice may be causing the damage. No injuries were reported in any of the shootings.
The North Carolina State Board of Education is meeting this week to discuss a draft proposal that could affect teacher salaries. If approved, the proposal would change teacher salaries based on their experience to merit-based pay for their students' standardized testing scores. Some teachers say that although this new model could bring new people to the profession, it could also drive veteran teachers away. Lauren Piner, a Pitt County history teacher, said that educators work best when they collaborate, so this new model could pit new teachers and veteran teachers against one another. Another teacher from Onslow County, Amy Perry, said, and I quote, "Teachers aren't going to want to share their strategies and their good lessons and how they're implementing things because they're not going to want that competition," end quote. If the system changes, North Carolina will be the first state to stop paying teachers on an experience-based scale.
Now let's head over to Campus Update reporter Danielle Glendenning to hear the latest about what's going on the campus. Danielle.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Campus Update. Class officer elections are underway, so be sure to learn about the candidates and vote on HPU Connect. If you're in the mood for some movies, check out Escape Room Tournament of Champions this Thursday at 9 p.m. and Saturday at 3 p.m. in the Wannick Cinema. Finally, the biggest event this week by far is the spring concert this Friday. HPU grad student Mac Jenkins is the opening act, and Plain White Tees is coming for the main event. For the first time ever, the concert will be in the Cubane Arena, so make sure to grab your free wristbands this Friday for admission. That's all for Campus Update. See you next week.
So are you going to the spring concert?
Of course I'll be at the
Same.
concert. Yeah,
I'm excited.
I have to say, and I think that a lot of people will agree with me. I know probably 3
Plain White Tee songs?
Plain White Tee
Yep,
songs.
same.
I would say 3 main ones. Obviously, it's going to be great. I haven't seen Mac Jenkins, but I've heard that he's been great.
Yes, I have. I saw him I think it was my freshman year.
Yeah.
He did it too.
Yeah.
And he's very good too, so I'm very excited for the whole concert in general.
Me too. Well, thanks for the update, Ciara. Over to you, Brooke.
Thanks, guys. Coming back from the break, we hear about Panther's success on the course and the track. Plus, a high point pole vaulter reaches a new milestone at the vert class. Stay tuned. All Access will be right back.
How am I going to pay for this?
Myth. I can party with people as long as they don't have symptoms. That myth is false. As we've seen, up to 40% of people who have COVID-19 are asymptomatic and can pass it on to others. So I'd recommend avoiding any social parties, especially indoor ones. If you want to try to socialize but reduce your risk, I'd recommend meeting outside in small groups, continuing to wear a mask, and socially distancing from others if you can. Then together, we can keep COVID-19 out of school.
For ways to keep your community safe, go to backtoschooltogether.com.
America, land of the free. It's at the core of who we are. Freedom. The freedom to live without fear, to drive through all 50 states, to sleep safely in our own beds, the freedom to jog where we please, to watch birds in the park, to wear a hoodie, the freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because no matter your religion, gender, disability, age, race, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
Welcome back to All Access. Our sports reporter, Brooke Ruffin, has the latest on what's happening in the world of HPU athletics. Tell us what's up, Brooke.
Good evening, I'm Brooke Ruffin with your All Access Sports Update. It was a beautiful weekend for sports in North Carolina as the Panthers shined on the course and the track. First up, men's golf team traveled to Kannapolis, North Carolina for the Irish Creek Intercollegiate, standing 6th out of 15 teams. On the final 18, two Panthers had their best rounds of the day, Christian Castillo and Adam Hooker. Christian finished 3rd overall to close out the tournament with a career best, shooting 5 under par with 5 birdies and an eagle. Christian's shot led the Panthers to the lowest round of the day, tying the Panthers with Ole Miss. Head coach Brady Greger stated, quote, "As a team, anytime you tie an SEC school for the low round of the day in the final round, you've gone out and played well. That's exactly what the guys did today," end quote. Adam Hooker had his best round of the year, finishing 1 over par, coming off of an injury. Next, the Panthers head to 96 South Carolina for the Big South Men's Golf Championship on April 20th. From the course to the track, the High Point Panthers had a fast weekend as records were broken and PRs were set by the women's and men's track and field team at home for the annual vert class meeting. On the field, Sydney Horn did it again as she set the school, facility, and meet record, clearing 4.45 meters to win the women's elite pole vault. Sydney now ties for 3rd in the country. Letizia Marsico broke the school record in shot put with a mark of 13.70 meters, finishing 6th in the elite shot put final. On to sprints, Alicia Johnson marked 12.54 meters in the triple jump to win the event and break the formal school record. Alicia currently sits 18th in the NCAA East region. The 4x400 meter relay team of Danitra Hester, Niley Facey, Abby Craig, and Leah Bolden currently sits 28th in the NCAA East region by not only winning the event, but also having a season best and breaking the meet record with a time of 3 minutes and 44 seconds. Niley Facey also ran the 100 meter hurdles, winning her event with a time of 13.46 seconds. On to distance, Sydney Bagas with teammate Francie Jacobs finished 1-2 in the 3,000 meter steeplechase, both achieving personal best in the event. Hannah Brookover with teammate Ashley Jones also finished 1-2 in the 1500 meter. Cameron Harper won the 800 meter with a season best of 2 minutes and 11 seconds. On the field, for the men, the Scott Houston not only won the elite pole vault event, but also set the meet and facility record with a mark of 5.67 meters. Alex Hoffman won the men's hammer as he threw a personal best of 48.98 meters, coming close to breaking the school record. Ryan Tanner won the javelin throws with a mark of 60.17 meters. And Chris Van Nykirk performed a season best in shot put with a throw of 17.88 meters. On to sprints, the men's 4x4 meter relay not only finished 2nd in the event, but they also broke the school record that has stood since 2001. The Panthers team included Freddie Allen III, Paul Gore, Tucker Conine, and Darren Dudley, running a mark of 40.61 putting them 29th in the NCAA East region. Terrace Burton now sits 12th in the NCAA East region for the 400-meter hurdles with a time of 52.18. On to distance, Hossein Botrak won the 1500 meter with a time of 3 minutes and 49 seconds. Hunter Seenown set the meet record with a personal best of 30 minutes and 14 seconds in the 10,000 meter run. Coming in right behind him were teammates Ian Miller and Spencer Smucker. Next up, the Panthers will travel down the road to Greensboro for the Aggie Classic and Duke for the Duke Invitational this weekend as they come close to finishing out their season. That's all for your All Access Sports Update. I'm Brooke Ruffin. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Brooke. Now we're joined at the desk by political correspondent Will O'Brien. Will?
Thanks, guys. First, in this week's politics update, there is still bitter controversy between the Walt Disney Corporation and the state of Florida after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis recently signed the so-called Don't Say Gay bill into law upon its passage in the state legislature. DeSantis claims that the intention of the bill is meant to solidify parental rights in education and protect young students in kindergarten through third grade from sexually explicit material. However, many are claiming that the Don't Say Gay bill is discriminatory against the LGBTQ+ community. Disney has recently announced its support for the LGBTQ+ community, stating that they plan to fight for the bill's repeal in court. In response, Ron DeSantis is saying that he is open to repealing the 1967 Reedy Creek Improvement Act, which granted Disney self-governing status within Florida state lines. The controversy also comes at a time of speculation that DeSantis has his eyes on the White House for 2024. So funny enough, I actually went to Disney over this past October break, and while I was there were a bunch of different rules and regulations in place. And I was like, why are there so many rules? Like, DeSantis would never allow this.
Right.
And then my dad said DeSantis does not want to pick a fight with Disney because Disney is the number one private employer for the state.
Right.
But here we are. So
I know.
how does this all strike you, and where could you see it going from
I
here?
mean, I definitely think that, like, if anything were to be happening with Disney in Florida, it would greatly affect the economy of Florida in general because Disney supplies so much stuff.
I don't think we've seen the full effects of it yet, but what are your thoughts?
No, and the fact that, they've obviously had to deal with things before where they've had to make their own rules. We saw in I believe, 1967, it's been in the history with Disney having the ability to be able to make its own rules. The question is, are they going to fight to be able to spread, their idea beyond just their walls? And I think, that's going to be the question.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. On Friday, the Biden administration announced that it will be terminating the Trump-era Title 42 health policy on May 23rd. Title 42 has been used by both the Trump and Biden administrations to turn away immigrants at the southern border due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Republican and Democratic lawmakers, as well as law enforcement at the border, have expressed concern that it could lead to a new surge in immigration. And officials are already at odds with each other after Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said, quote, "We are increasing our capacity to process new arrivals, evaluate asylum requests, and quickly remove those who do not qualify for protection. Over the next 2 months, we are putting in place additional appropriate COVID-19 protocols, including ramping up our vaccination program." So I was really struck by this because I see a lot of members of Biden's own party, the Democratic Party, saying, don't do this because this is going to hurt us in November. What are your thoughts on it?
I think the issue is the fact that we haven't had to deal with changing a lot of COVID rules in a while. We just haven't had the ability to do so. I don't know exactly how it's going to go, but I could totally see there being a surge.
Absolutely.
I would say the same thing. I think getting used to the pandemic world, and then now we're trying to get used to a whole different world that we've never experienced before. I think that it's going to cause, this is just one little element of everything else that's going to be coming in probably in the next year.
Yep, absolutely.
So thank you for joining us, Will. Coming back from the break, some eventful moments at the Oscars taking the world by storm.
And Triad locals help those in Ukraine. All Access will be right back. Stay with us.
How am I going to pay for this?
Myth. I can party with people as long as they don't have symptoms. That myth is false. As we've seen, up to 40% of people who have COVID-19 are asymptomatic and can pass it on to others. So I'd recommend avoiding any social parties, especially indoor ones. If you want to try to socialize but reduce your risk, I'd recommend meeting outside in small groups, continuing to wear a mask, and socially distancing from others if you can. Then together, we can keep COVID-19 out of school.
For ways to keep your community safe, go to backtoschooltogether.com.
America, land of the free. It's at the core of who we are. Freedom. The freedom to live without fear, to drive through all 50 states, to sleep safely in our own beds, the freedom to jog where we please, to watch birds in the park, to wear a hoodie, the freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because no matter your religion, gender, disability, age, race, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
Welcome back to All Access. It's time for this week's Student Spotlight with reporter Lisbeth Ramirez and our very own Emmy Beck-Aiden.
Thanks, Anna. Welcome back to this week's Student Spotlight. Today we have one of our very own, Emmy Beck-Aiden. Emmy, it's nice to see you on camera today.
It's good to be on this side of things. It's weird. I'm used to being in the control room, so it's good to be here.
I'm glad. So let's just hop right into it. So you had what many would say would be the dream internship. Tell me a little bit about it.
It was an awesome experience. So this past January, February, I worked with NBC Sports to broadcast the 2022 Winter Olympics. So it was a lot of fun. I was thinking about it the other day, and it's not many times when you're in the moment of something do you realize, like, this is a moment that I'm going to remember for a long time. And I was really lucky to kind of feel that moment in the moment several times throughout the Olympics. You know, it was the first time that NBC Sports broadcasted that in conjunction with the Super Bowl. It was the first time that one city had hosted both the summer and winter. Right. It was the first time all of the events were streamed. So there was just a lot of really cool milestones that I was able to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, that's so crazy. I can only imagine. So what do you think is your biggest takeaway from that experience?
I learned a lot just about how many moving pieces there are when it comes to such a big undertaking like that. Because of COVID, a lot of people that would normally be in Beijing were back in Connecticut, right, where I was as well. So it was really cool to be able to just see how many different elements from things that I wouldn't normally think of, you know, the production logistics, the HR, the social media. The last night we saw the social media team in the hotel kind of celebrating with us. And so it was nice to just be able to see what other people do that's completely outside of my wheelhouse, but are just as necessary to make it come to life.
Yeah, I guess that's what internships are all about. You get to learn so many different moving parts. So you're a senior this year, and I know that there's something in store for you. What is it? Tell me. What's after post-grad?
So I'll be staying with NBC Universal. I just found out last week and accepted a job offer. So I'll be working as an East Coast page in their page program. So I'm really excited. I'll be going to New York City. I've never been to New York in my life. So it's definitely going to be a transition, but I'm really excited. It's a year-long rotational program. So I'll be working within different departments around 30 Rock with my cohort and just kind of learning different elements of the industry.
Emmy takes on the Big Apple. That'll be really cool to see. That's
small town
really
Ohio
cool.
kid. It's going to be a big change.
I know, yeah, big change for sure. So, I mean, you are the director of news. What is some advice you have for the future of HPU Vision?
Well, I'm really excited to see where HPU Vision goes. I've been lucky enough to be a part of it throughout my college career, and it's been really cool to see, you know, where the people that were my mentors when I was an underclassman are now kind of how they used HPU Vision, the skills they learned, the friendships they gained, and how that transferred post-grad. So I'm excited to see where that ends up for me, really excited to stay close with all of the people in this studio in front of and behind the scenes. But I'm excited to see where it goes. I think that there are a lot of directions that you can take it. There are a lot of people who are passionate about getting involved. So my advice would just be to continue to be creative, continue to implement new ideas, and be confident in your skills.
Wow. Thank you so much, Emmy. It was so nice to have you, and good luck on your new job and everything that you have planned. I'm so excited to see where you go.
Thanks so much.
And that's all the time we have today for Student Spotlight. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Lizbeth, and it was so nice having you on the camera, Emmy. Now it's time to hear the inside scoop on all things entertainment with reporter Rihanna Dozier. Rihanna?
Thanks, Anna. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to All Access Entertainment. I think we all were a little shocked after Smith's outburst at the Oscars. Here's what remains unsettled after the slap. It is unclear whether Chris Rock was aware that Jada Smith suffers from alopecia, which is a hair loss that can be caused by an autoimmune disease. However, although Smith should be riding high after his win for Best Actor for his role in King Richard, the status of his career is still in question. His actions that night could well cause studios to second-guess working with Smith. A reporter from Forbes pointed out that, quote, the Oscars incident shattered a carefully crafted 30-year image of approachable, harmless, and always-on movie star charisma, end quote. While the actors had already resigned from the Academy, its president, David Rubin, said in a statement Friday that the group will continue to move forward with its disciplinary proceedings against Smith for violations of the Academy's standards of conduct. The meeting has not yet happened, so we will keep you informed as the story unfolds. Moving on to a lighter note, Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker had a surprise wedding in Vegas Monday night after the Grammys. The private wedding took place at 1:45 a.m. on Monday. The owner of One Love Chapel said, quote, they came, got married, tossed the bouquet in the driveway, and danced to Elvis, end quote. Barker proposed to Kardashian in October of 2021 in Montecito, California. When the two arrived at the One Love Chapel, they were dressed in the same clothes that they wore to the Grammys earlier that evening. It is currently unclear if Kardashian and Barker obtained a marriage license before the ceremony. The couple also has not made a public statement about their nuptials yet. However, I have a feeling that we will be hearing from them very soon. That is all I have for you tonight. Back to the desk.
Winston-Salem resident helped seminary in Ukraine bring supplies to a number of the hardest hit cities during the war. Scott Reed is a board of directors member of the Ukraine Partnership Foundation, which established the Ukrainian Baptist Theological Seminary in Lviv, Ukraine in 2011. The seminary is currently delivering items like water, baby food, canned goods, and medical supplies to 9 different cities. They have served an average of 500 refugees per day and have helped more than 8,000 refugees since the war began. Reed is working with triad organizations to make this happen. They currently have supplies flowing in, but are still in need of more medical supplies and canned goods. If you would like to help, please contact the Ukraine Partnership Foundation for more information.
One young girl in Greenville has found a unique way to help out those in war-torn Ukraine. 5-year-old Nola Kelly and her mom, April, run a business selling sweet treats. They began the business, Nola's Twisted Apple Pops, in December of 2021, and when Nola heard about the war, she wanted to find a way to help. April Kelly said they felt a connection to Ukraine because of their friend Kate Kerr, a Greenville local and entrepreneur originally from Ukraine. She has been finding ways to send donations and money to Ukraine since the conflict began, and was able to connect Nola with friends and classmates who are volunteering in Ukraine. With Kerr's help, the Kellys are donating $5 to Ukraine for every item they sell. And if you would like to help by buying some of Nola's treats, you can do so by visiting their Facebook page.
It really is amazing what all of these companies or local people are doing for Ukraine during a time like this.
It is, you know, and I think they need it. I think it's one of those things where we've got to work together. You know, I've talked about this with a couple professors, even saying, you know, COVID was supposed to be that international thing that's supposed to help us get together. Now, I'm not saying that this should be the, a war
Right, it
shouldn't be
be the
what gets
outcome.
us together, but, if this is what needs to happen, then I think this is, a great way for all of us to work together.
Right, and I completely agree, and I know that a lot of supplies is needed for all these places, so make sure you're sending your water bottles, your food, your canned goods, everything you can to make that happen. So that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thank you for watching. Join us next week, same time, same place. For HPU All Access, I'm Anna Harris.
And I'm Reese Harnett. Have a great week, High Point.